Alright, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honors you brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity. This is going to be a topic focused on the media corporations in a sense, and the information I'm going to bring out is literally the stuff that was the easiest stuff for me to find first and foremost, and it really only encompasses the surface of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg, in other words, to coin the term. Right, and just to give you a glance and some of the stuff that I'm gonna be going into in this lesson. Right, it was really or rather more just a disclaimer, in other words. When I initially found this information a couple of days ago when I was preparing the information for the video, it was very easy to think that the topic will be easily understood, but upon further research, namely watching videos on YouTube and so on and so forth, it's a far more intricate ploy, right? In the sense that the devil, the so-called white man, who is the Edomites, and not all white people are Edomites, but the vast majority of you are, right? You got some, you're gonna be Jake scattered amongst you people, but the vast majority you are devils, right? What they have done is they had it to where the thing that you like to sit back and relax behind all the time is the means that what they're using to keep you docile. That's your television, right? And that's what they call it, television program. And like I said, it's a very simple topic on the surface of it. But what I encourage anyone who watches this video to do, ergo the disclaimer, is to search the topic out, especially on YouTube, because you can get some really good information about this topic, and you find out that some of the stuff I'm going to bring out is literally just the tip of the iceberg. Just really it's not enough information. It's not enough information I could put into this video. So I encourage you, whoever watches, you brothers up there, the ones of the elect, you go out and you find this information, and you're going to find out just how much of a devil this man is, and just what state of hypnosis, right, that these people are in right now. Right, without much further ado, with the disclaimer out the way, I'm going to get into a few articles, namely on mind control and mind control technique that you use on television and so on and so forth, and get into some scriptures as well. Alright, but like I said, the main thing is that use this video as an inspiration on finding out the information that I found out on YouTube and so on and so forth, right? And you can understand it for yourself, right? Because obviously I don't want to sit back and just regurgitate someone else's video that I've watched, but maybe I'll put the link of the video I'm referring to in the description box. So this is called 7 Jewish Family Control Most of U.S. Media, right? And that already sounds like an oxymoron, because you got the Jewish over there in Israel. Well, they say they're Jews, but we know through the book of Revelation, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd chapter, the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and Deuteronomy all the way on down. They're not the real Jews, and the real Jews went into captivity by way of slave ships. Right? This is a whole story. Now, this is, it'll be new if you're first coming into this thing, but been around for a while, you should know all of that stuff. It says, from southern France, Christopher Jones summarizes and comments on a report of the assassination of President Kennedy. Need I stress that WAIS censors were only direct attacks on, I think what seems like races and a grossly improper language. Christopher glanced at the Kennedy assassination site and found it fits into a discussion of the Hollywood stereotypes and slavish behavior of the U.S. press after 9/11 tragedy and in the run up to the invasion of Iraq. Because if you remember, before they invaded Iraq, man, right, they had this whole 9/11 thing, and they always use some country or some boogeyman especially in the media stations, as a means to infiltrate a particular country. And right now it's ISIS as a means of infiltrating Eurasia, right where the Russians don't want the Americans to be, and that's why you got the tension right now between the Americans and the Russians. Right, so try and follow the pattern and try, extrapolate the information if I don't pick up on it. Right, because usually what you can use hand in hand, is stuff that reoccurs over and over again. Remember when we go into the book of Ecclesiastes, the seventh chapter, not the seventh chapter, or the 12th, might be in the 12th chapter, maybe. It talks about there's nothing new underneath the sun, meaning to say stuff gets reincarnated, right? And the same thing with the devil and his devilish ways, man. He goes about the same devilish manner, namely he makes something up, namely 9/11, and so-called the so-called Al Qaeda, right? Of which apparently now they've just vanished off the face of the planet, I guess. Right now that they invaded, in Iraq, now the Al Qaeda has just vanished off the face of the planet, man. Right? That can be used. You can use that as the example. You can link on the modern times now, in the modern days, right? Is the so-called State of Islam, which that was also set up by the CIA, man. Right? It says in a quick rundown, the website recapitulates an old story that I heard back in the 60s and early 70s in California, that Kennedy was liquidated by the mafia, whose kingpin was Meyer Lansky, pal of Lucky Luciano. Right. In fact, I could add a small tidbit, right, which the author may or not have covered, that Marilyn Monroe was murdered by the mafia as a warning to her lovers Bobby and Jack Kennedy. The story of the Caucasian hit squad was documented in the TV documentary in Europe. Of course, it would be interesting to know more about the Auguste record and his collaborations with the Gestapo, and he had anything to do with the old friend Mado, and I can't really pronounce that word. Right? It says today 7 Jewish Americans ran the vast majority of the U.S. television networks, right? The printed press, Hollywood movies industry, the book publishing industry, and the recording industry, right? So all of this prerequisite here, that's just extra information. It's not really disinformation, because when you go into the whole President Kennedy thing, you find out it was also an inside job, man. They took him down, and 9/11 was an inside job and all of that. But you might be alluding to the fact that these 7 Jewish families, pretty much that's what they give you in their media and all of that. But as with any article, you just have to sift it out for yourself, man. Right? Don't take this as information, right? The main thing to take out from this is the fact that you got these 7 Jewish family running the vast majority of the U.S. television networks. I'm not doing a breakdown on all that information, because I certainly wouldn't go around about the way he's gone about it. That's disinformation. Right, it says today 7 Jewish families run the vast majority of U.S. television networks, the printed press, the Hollywood movie industry, the book publishing industry, and the recording industry. So all of your Rick Rosses and Jay-Z's and all of that, they're all subjects unto the so-called Jews, man. Right, who push their own agenda, and their agenda is the destruction of the so-called Negroes. And that the easy proof of that is all you have to ask yourself: who was the main benefiters of slavery, man? And it was them so-called Jews. That's why they got all that kind of money, because they sold you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans into captivity, man. Right? It says most of these industries are bundled into huge media conglomerates run by the following seven individuals. Right? Now, this is just information I found off of this site, so I'm not saying this is 100%, but right, from what it reads, it says Gerald Levin, right, CEO and director of AOL Time Warner, right, Michael Einzer, right, chairman of CEO of Walt Disney, right, Edgar Brofman, right, senior chairman of Sharegram Company, right, and it lists the 7 so-called Jewish family, but that's not the point. The point is, right, you got 7 groups, right, controlling, right? Remember it says here controlling what you see, what you understand, right? And that's pretty much what I wanted to get out of that particular article. Not so much, like I said, this section of it, but the fact that all of these companies, these 7 companies, and they all so-called Jews, on your media, man. And if they had you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans on them, like sardines on them slave ships, man. Right, you're damn sure they ain't putting nothing on them, television programming to embetter your people, man, to help you uplift yourself. So it's all gonna be disinformation and all that, right? And I'm gonna whiz through some of the other information I found over here, right? Like I said, I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg because, man, when you go into this topic, man, it's deep, man. Right, and this one is called Mind Control Theories and Techniques Used by Mass Media. It says mass media is the most powerful tool used by the ruling class. Right, we found out here that the ruling class are some so-called Jews, which have put themselves up there, because really the ruling class, all right, when you go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse, is supposed to be Israel. But when you also go into the book of second Esdras, where it talks about after these Adam also, whom thou hast made Lord over all creatures, of him come we all, and also the people whom thou hast chosen. And who's the people that the Lord has chosen? Right, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, all of Israel scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Right, and it also goes on to say, man, I've seen servants upon horses, man. Right, and if the world was made for our sake, why don't we possess an inheritance? And the simple answer is because we went off on the law, statutes, commandments to the Most High. Right, and the only way that this devil can keep us down is through this television programming, man. Through television programming, through the food you eat, which we're going to touch on a little bit on there, right? It says mass media is the most powerful tool used by the ruling class to manipulate the masses into. It shapes and molds opinions and attitudes and defines what is normal and acceptable. And that's important because you got a lot of homosexuals running up and down these damn streets, man. Because that's when you switch on these TVs, they slowly implement it, man. Right? They slowly implement these different new phenomena, man. What's the new in thing, man? The new socially acceptable thing, man. Right? It says this article looks at the workings of mass media through the theories of its major thinkers, its power structure and techniques that it uses in order to understand its true role in society. And that's important to say, man. The true role of society, man. What the TV is role in society is to mold your opinion and to have you thinking and showing you what's normal, right? Making you adjust what's acceptable and what's normal. And whatever you should, I mean, whenever you switch on the TV and they're upholding the 613 laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, man, you've never been doing it, man. You damn sure ain't gonna see no GMS in no positive light on these TVs, man. Right? And GMS, man, them brothers them elders, man, they've been down for years, man. Some more 20, 30 years, man. And you telling me not one news channel has picked up on them, man? Right, I find that hard to believe, man. Right, so that goes to show you exactly what the truth is right there, man. Right, and we have it at GMS, man, because you know, Nate's people on the TV and all of that, but you ain't gonna see us on the TV for no kind of thing, man, for nothing. Right, it says most articles on this site discuss occult symbolism found in objects of popular culture. From these articles arise many legitimate questions relating to the purpose of the symbols and the motivations of motivation of those who placed them there, right? But it is possible for me to provide satisfactory answers to these questions without mentioning many other concepts and facts. I have therefore decided to write this article to supply the theoretical and methodological background of the analysis presented on this site, as well as introducing the main scholars of the field of mass communication. Right? Some people read my articles and think I'm saying Lady Gaga wants to control our minds, right? Which we know is not true, right? That's just the face of it, For instance, when you see, when people see us on the street, they look at us, they think that we're crazy and all of that, and why are we going? We're just the face of him, and we're subject unto Yahweh, man. And he's much more angry, man. He's much more crazy than we are, man. As a matter of fact, when you read the book of Second, and I don't mean crazy and I have to hold my tongue there because people take that and go crazy with it. I mean, way beyond your realm of thinking. As a matter of fact, when you go into the scriptures, it says, right, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Right, that's how the Lord spoke about himself, in the sense that he's on another dimension, man. The way he thinks, he's on another dimension, man. Right? But we are the representatives of Yahweh on the earth. Right? You have, just like how you have the representatives of Satan on the earth, namely the Edomites, man. We are the representatives of Yahweh on the earth. And it's just like how you have these media icons, Lady Gaga's, 50 Cent, whoever, and Jay-Z, whatever, man. Those are just the face of something that's even larger, man. Namely, what we've grown to know as the Illuminati. Really, that's just Esau's, military and religious and financial system culminating into one word, man. How he conducts himself amongst those three realms into one word. That's the easiest way to find it. It's the Illuminati. You can't be breaking down all these through finance, right, war, right, and religion, right, to these people, man. They ain't gonna get that. The easiest way to get it is Illuminati, man. And Lady Gaga is just the face of it, because you don't really, if you're running things, man, you ain't really on the face of things, man. That's how you know when someone's in charge, because they don't really be saying too much. They'll be in the background right there, man, pulling the strings. All right, and in the article it goes and says this is not the case. She is simply a small part. It's exactly what I was saying, man. Right, this is not the case. She is simply a small part of a huge system that is the mass media. Right. Now, if I go into I'm not gonna go into all of this. Right, I'll read what I feel is relevant. Right, and the points are pretty much made, man. Right, in most of these articles, once you read all of this, because they go into proving their stuff. But I mean, the proof I've got here is in the scriptures, man. It's over here. We're gonna prove it in the scriptures. This is almost the prerequisite information, man. We're sifting this information through the scriptures. So all of these are so-called elite thinkers, right? Who are who manufacture the thoughts, the programming sequences behind everything. And I'll just read the first one, just to give you a taste of what it's talking about. But some of this information, man, I don't really go into it because it's not really useful sometimes, man. Right? But like I said, I'll read the first bit, and then that should give us a feel of what the rest of the article is going to say. So from the bit I left off, it says programming through mass media. Mass media are media forms designed to research the largest audience, designed to reach the largest audience possible. That's why it's called mass media, right? They include televisions. Like I said, man, it's already information we know. It says many studies have been conducted in the past centuries to measure the effects of mass media. Right? We know that. It says from those articles emerged the science of communications, which is used in marketing. Now that's important, right? The science of communication, repetition, right? And I'm quoting stuff that I've watched in the actual video that I used to find some of this information and stuff, right? And try to in the video I watched to kind of figure out a thought pattern on how I'll go about this video. And like I said, man, I'll keep on stressing, man. This is not it, man. You gotta really, if you're really interested in this topic, man, you really gotta go for it, man. My main thing is just proving what it says in the scriptures, man. If you wanna really go on this thing, man, you can go all day on this, man. Right? They got this mind control, this people down to a T, man. As a matter of fact, they have it to where I was watching an article, watching a thing on YouTube quite a while back. They got it down to such an art form. Right, when they're trying to push an agenda on the news, For instance, going into the countries where is the so-called Islamic states occupied, they give you an argument to go in, and they give you a counter argument to go in, right? But both parties are really pushing for the same thing. But see, the mind, when it sees the both parties going head to head at it, it makes it easier for you to be more accessible, right, to that ideology, right? So, like it says here, the science of communication, like I was saying, repetition, right? In fact, another thing I was watching on the tube, right? The fact that your TV is flashing, really, it all looks smooth and static. It really is flashing, man, right? And those are techniques used by hypnosis, repetition, right? The fact that the screen is always constantly flashing, and it's flashing at some frequency that's been designed for it to flash, right? Like I said, man, I'm not no expert at this field, man, but the information, the facts are there, man, they're right in your face, right? And it goes on to say the science of communications, which is used in marketing, public relations, and politics, right? Mass communication is a necessary tool to ensure that the functionality of a large democracy, right? The functionality of a large democracy, and it is also a necessary tool for dictatorship. Right, and we ain't no democracy, man. We're in a dictatorship, in a full sense of the democracy. We're in a dictatorship underneath the so-called elite banking families, initially spoken of here in this article here. Right, you're talking about the 7 Jewish families that own most of the corporate media. Right. Right. Computer's crashing on me. But here we go. Alright, I'll close this down. Maybe I'll speed up a little bit. Right, so it goes on to say, in a dictatorship, it all depends on its usage, right? And it says in 1958, in the 1958 preface of A Brave New World, Aldous Huxley paints a rather grim portrait of society. He believes it's controlled by an impersonal force, right, ruling elite, which manipulates the populations using various methods, right? And then it goes on and on and on. And I believe these are examples of different mind control techniques and all of that, man. But I don't need to go into all of that to let you know that their agenda is to control. Their agenda is to try to control the mass people of the vast majority of society, man. You can see it for yourself, man. Right? They got people marching up and down when a so-called Negro gets choked, man. Right, with his hands up, screaming, "I can't breathe, man." Right, so these elites don't love you people, man. Right, they don't love you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man. Right, and fucking computers shut down. But nevertheless, I guess the point is reached, man. Right, it's just a shame that these two other articles that I've prepared are failing to load. But it was going to go into stuff that I basically quoted. So just search your own information. I'll put these 2 links that won't load up this time as well because of the fucking computer and that. But I'm going to get into the scriptures right now. Right, this is the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter. Now this bit's important, and there won't be no jumping across paragraphs in this bit. Right, because this is the important bit, and we've proved that for these articles here. And this is Revelation 12th chapter on the 1st verse, and it says, and they appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, right, and the moon under her feet, and upon her a crown of 12 stars, and that's indicative of the 12 tribes of Israel, right there. And it says, she being with child, Yahushua, travailing in birth, pain to be delivered, and it says, and appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, which is the so-called Roman Empire, right? And the so-called Roman Empire and America are interchangeable, right? Depending on what scripture and what period of time that particular scripture is looking at, right? It says, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? Which is so-called white man's power structure, right? And it says, and 7 heads and 7 crowns upon his head, right? And it says, and his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, ready to be delivered to devour her as soon as it was to devour her child as soon as it was born, right? And she brought forth a man child, like I said, Yahushua, right? Who was to and she brought forth a man child who was to rule over all nations, right, with a rod of iron, right? And the child was caught up unto the Most High, to his throne. So that goes to prove to you that's talking about Israel. That woman's talking about the nation of Israel, right there. And the child was Yahushua. And it says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, right, where she had the prepared for her. Right, that's talking about when we fled into the interiors of Africa. And really, we're always fleeing from these Edomites, man. But the time of fleeing is pretty much finished, man. It really is finished, man. Right? We ain't gonna be jumping up and running from country to country, running away from the snares of the so-called white man anymore, man. This is time for vengeance. We're in a state of vengeance. We're getting into a state of vengeance, man. And you can see people are being roused up, man. But see, when you rouse up, people are gonna, the Edomites are gonna come and they're gonna try to get you, man. So you gotta prepare your mind for that, man. And so, like I said, man, the devil don't want this video coming out for some reason. But hey, that's Satan for you, man. All right, let me get back into it. It says, and she fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared for her of the Most High, and it shall be there. That they should feed there 1,260 days. Right, and it says, and there was war in heaven. Now this is and there's a proper breakdown I did of this scripture in the videos up there. All right, but like I said, in the first time I broke this down, right? Not breaking it down like it was the first, I was the first person to break it down. But after studying from the elders, when I brought it back out, after studying from the elders, right? The elders pretty much go into the fact that this is talking about different periods of time, right? And this is, when he's talking about here, and there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. That's talking about in the future, when the so-called one is actually gonna go up against the under the name of America and all of that. It's actually gonna go up against the chariots of the Most High, right? It says, and it says, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven, right? Neither was their place found any more in heaven. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, and that which deceived, and this is the point I was getting at here, man, which deceived the whole world, right? He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast with him, right? And I've just been showing you just a little taster, man. It really is just a little taster, man. Because when you go into it, man, you look into it, you spend 2 hours, 3-4 hours just breaking down that one particular bit, man. You don't really need that breaking down, man. The scriptures is that's what gives life, man. Right? Like how Shai said when he was on the scene, man. He said, man can't live on bread alone, man, but by every word that proceedeth from the Most High. And he says, and I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, and now is salvation come, right, and strength, and the kingdom of our power, rathermore, in the kingdom of God, and the power of Christ, and the accuser of our brethren is cast down, right, and that which accused them before our God day and night. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death, which goes into, enduring whatever you're gonna get through. Now this is the other second point I was going to. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, right, and it's coming back into present time now, right, and ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devils come down having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath the sort time. And when the dragon, right, saw that she was cast out unto the earth, and the devil and the dragon, a so-called white man, is interchangeable, man, right? It's just different periods of time, so you can understand, man. All right. It says, and the dragon, right, saw that she was cast down to the earth, and he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child, right? And it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she was nourished for a time and times and half times, right, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent, all right, cast out of his mouth a water as a flood after the woman, right? And and that's going into your TV media and all of that. Right, the fact that everything that you're watching, man, right, is pretty much set up to make it go off, man. What you're eating, and that was really what the other article would have gone into, man. Right, because the food that you eat with high fluoride water and all of that makes you docile and less active and proactive, man. Right, they pretty much want you sitting at home doing nothing, man. But you gotta get exercising, which you know, don't overdo that. Right, studying, obviously, and that goes without saying. Getting into herbs and all of that, making sure the mind is fresh and prepared for whatever goes down. Right, you're gonna draw up until the end. Right, it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as after the woman, that that he might cause her to be carried away off the flood, to be carried away in those philosophies. Right, it says, the earth helped the woman and opened up the mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon did cast out of his mouth. And that's going into the fact that the elect ain't going to be deceived by that. Right, and let me just prove that point. It says, for they shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and they shall show great wonders. Same thing you see on these TVs, man. All of this deception that you see here. It says, in so much that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. Right, but they ain't going to be able to deceive the very elect. And that's in the book of Matthew 24 and 24. Right, and then, just for diligence sake, I'll finish off this scripture. It says, this is the 17th chapter. It says, this is the 17th chapter. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which did keep the commandments of the Most High, right, and the testimony of Yahushua, man. Right, and that's pretty much it, man. Right, so this man's gonna come and gonna try to throw you off, man. You better believe it, man. They're gonna throw people amongst us that have been set up just to try to throw us off, man. Right, but it was long-winded a little bit, and I really didn't get into some of the articles that I did want to get into. But even as it stands now, it's a bit longer than I wanted it to be. So it's supposed to be just quick and that. But what I advise you brothers to do is go out there and find your own information on this, because it's a heavy topic. It's not paramount. The scriptures come first and all of that, and you can see, right, what the scriptures talks about in Revelation 12th chapter. You can see the means that one of the main means that it goes about doing that, right, which is mass media. And another thing that was brought to my attention whilst I was preparing for this lesson, right, the gentleman I was watching who put together some of the video I watched in trying to aid this, he pointed out the fact that you got a lot of media and information at your fingertips, but a lot of people just sit in front of the TV and just watch whatever. They don't do their research, man. All right, and really, when you do your research, there's a lot of disinformation even in that. Right, the only true way to find information is to sift it through by the scriptures, man, which is what the elders have taught us to do, man. But pretty much with that, I'm going to sign out. Say double honor to the apostles of GMS. Honest, you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.